You all are awesome. All right,
And
here
Peggy.
we go. So now we can actually start our stuff. Hello everyone. I'm Gregory. Welcome to Tabletop Galaxy Second Sunrise. This is going to be we're in season 2 and this is going to be episode 2 and episode 9 overall. So welcome. Thank you for joining us. We are thrilled that you are here with us. We're going to do our quick intro, and then I want to start with something a little differently this time, and then we'll get things rolling. So we'll have a little quick I have a question for you all, I suppose. So I'm Gregory. I will be your space GM for this evening. I would like to know who you are and what character you're playing, and we're going to go alphabetically, which I should have done last time, but I kind of forgot. So tell us who is playing Corvix and who is Corvix.
Hello, my name is Kevin. You can find me on Twitter at Son of Clark, and Corvix is a kind of a droid on a journey of self-discovery, and he's chosen to make a career out of helping other people when and where he can.
Fabulous. I love it. So next in the alphabetical order would be Elly.
Hi, I'm Nifer, and I'm playing Ono Elakeme, or Elly, and she is a Twi'lek colonist politico. Yeah, colonist politico. Switch those around. But yeah, and she is still running away from all of her life's problems for a second season.
Exactly. And who is Kane?
My name is Nick, and I'll be playing Kane McAllister. He is a human hired gun mercenary soldier. He used to work for the Empire and fled, and now just tries to do good deeds wherever he can out here on the Outer Rim. Try to survive and try to make everyone's life a little bit better.
Fantastic. Now, before I ask you my personal question,
Nick, aren't you a heavy?
Yeah,
Are you
I
a heavy?
Change.
So. I did.
There we go.
I did.
so give it to us one more time.
Take 2.
Wait, let me update that. Heavy.
There we go.
Now I
I'm pretty
officially
sure.
changed.
Okay, good.
Yeah, because let me be honest, the mercenary soldier spec is kind of garbage.
Okay.
It was.
Wow.
I didn't like it. I tried it and I didn't like it, and then our merciful DM Steven was like, "You can switch. It's fine."
Absolutely.
So,
that is 100% because we're supposed to be having fun, right? It's a game. So if you don't enjoy the build, why not just change the build or, swap out a different character? But we love Kane, so it's way more sensible to have you, change the build so it suits the way you want to play Kane, which is awesome. So
and I suck at notes, which is why it hadn't been updated yet.
No
but
worries.
Now it is.
All right, so before we get into game stuff, I thought it'd be fun to get to know each other a little better here. I would love to know. So next time I'm going to ask a different question. I would love to know what your favorite movie is of the series, of the saga, of the 9 films. I suppose I would accept Solo or Rogue One, but of the 9 films, I would love to know which one is your personal favorite. I'm going to start first. I, of course, love number 4. A New Hope.
Sorry.
That's okay. No worries. A New Hope is, in my opinion, fantastic because it starts the story. It's the first one I watched as a kid because I was alive when it came out in theaters. Although I don't remember seeing it in the theaters, but I know I did. I was a little, I was like a toddler or something ridiculous. But overall, to me, it's the most fun of all of the movies, even though it's a little like the hero's journey stuff happens and all that. To me, I still felt like it just sets the tone for the whole story. So I love A New Hope. How about the rest of you? Let's go backwards. How about Nick? Which is your favorite of the movies?
Oh, well, it's funny. No, I'm not even gonna go there. We started
Say Attack of the Clones. Do it, you coward.
that is not even the most controversial movie I can say right now. We were joking before that I was gonna say some controversial stuff, just to drum up some conversation. But I will not say The Last Jedi, even though y'all can trash me. But I thought it was a great movie.
I agree.
We could talk about that at another time. Hit me up on Twitter, and I'll chat with you about my love for The Last Jedi all day, every day.
I'll hit you up on Twitter.
Let's do it. We started a conversation, I think, one morning, and then I got busy and I couldn't keep up with it.
I just thought you didn't like me.
Yeah, no. Oh boy. Okay, this has gone on way longer than anyone has anticipated. This is a hard question, Gregory, but I always really liked Revenge of the Sith.
Cool.
That was one of those like first movies I think I saw in theaters.
Cool.
Because I don't think I saw the first two. I think I saw the third one. And it was just like, as a kid, like, it's a dope movie. That part where, like, Darth Vader's... Okay, like, I don't know if this is a spoiler. Like, what is the statute of limitations on spoilers here?
This is a
This
Star
is a
Wars
Star
RPG
Wars
podcast. You're safe.
I think it's okay to talk about any of it.
All right, well, I don't know. Like, kids
Do it.
watch
Just say
sometimes, I
earmuffs.
guess.
If you haven't seen episode 3, earmuffs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fast
we're
forward
going to
like 20
spoil
seconds.
episode 3, I guess, if you haven't seen it. But, like, that dope part where, like, the mask comes down and then it clicks in. And then there's a moment where it stops. It's all silent, and then he takes that first breath. Oh man, chills.
That was
Chill.
that was
That
a
was
powerful
pretty
scene.
cinematic and good.
I will give
Yeah.
you that. All right, I want to hear what Nifer's favorite movie of the series.
Can it be like the bonus ones, like Rogue One?
Like
thought
I
you-
said, I would accept that, but that's fair. It's
I thought you were
still
gonna say
movie
Christmas
canon.
special.
Rogue One was dope. I mean, for real.
So,
if that's your
okay.
favorite, I would be totally
I-
understanding.
I really like Rogue One because it feels so much like a game of Star Wars RPG, where it's just like all of these people that are like, I have my own backstory and stuff, and like we're coming together for one job, and like they just work really well as a team, and they make the plan and they execute the plan, they expect the plan to go off the rail, all that type of stuff. And it's just like, it feels as cinematic as a game of Star Wars RPG does, so it's really cool.
With
But
the TPK.
also with a TPK at the end.
Exactly.
But it was like
right?
a
Must have been a
good
new DM.
TPK.
Totally.
Like it was a really good feeling TPK. But if we have to pick just the numbered ones, unironically, I really love the Phantom Menace. I
That's
really,
cool.
really do.
Phantom Menace
I
was
also do.
fun, and
It was
let's,
so
Let's
good.
face it, best Anakin, in my opinion.
And also
I think it's
best
the best
lightsaber
prequel.
duel.
What if I didn't hear what you said?
Best lightsaber duel.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay. Okay,
maybe.
fair. Love it. All right,
Maybe.
Kevin, how about you? Which is your favorite?
Man, I've been thinking about it while you guys are talking, and it really is just such a hard question to unpack for somebody who just grew up like loving Star Wars, watched it on repeat as a kid. I used to watch Spaceballs because of how much I love Star Wars.
Absolutely.
Like,
Spaceballs is great, of course.
so, I mean, you got A New Hope. It started the whole thing. It's just a visual effects masterpiece, even today. Empire brought so much depth and darkness and realness to that galaxy. Rogue One's amazing. I could just go on and on about.
Well, you
something
can't
that
pick
I
Yeah,
all
like
like
from
this
you
every
sounds
gotta
one
like
of
you're
the
gonna
movies.
pick all of them.
I'm gonna go with Caravan of Courage, the Ewok movie.
Get out
Yes!
of here. That wasn't even an option.
You said the side movies count.
No, I said Rogue One and Solo count.
No, I would honestly go with either probably Empire Strikes Back or Rogue One.
Fantastic. That's great. And I will ask another question another time. Today I want to know favorite movies. We'll see what we can come up with for next week. In the same vein, I want to suggest to our listeners, we would love for you, if you're interested, to submit one of our ship quirks. We are flying in the Second Sunrise, which is the name that this crew has given it. It was formerly known as the Socorro Sunset. It's probably had many different names because it's like more than 1,000-year-old ship. And we decided that it would be fun and funny and interesting if we came up with some ship quirks. We're going to roll for Nifer's going to roll for us for the to the ship quirk of the day of the session in a little bit here. But if you have an idea, what would be still a silly, fun thing that could go wrong, or be an oddball sort of stuff that might happen on a ship in space, submit it to us through Twitter. We'd love to hear it, or on one of our YouTube videos or whatever. We would love to hear from you. So let us know what your ship quirk would be, and we'll give you credit for it too next time.
We'll put it in the running.
All right, so all the fun stuff. Well, not the fun. The whole game is fun, but all of that out of the way. Let's get into the actual game for this evening, and I guess the unfun thing to do is to roll obligation, which falls on me. So here we go. Let's see what happens. Nobody. Ooh. Isn't that nice? So you all got a pass. So everybody's got full strain, and that's wonderful. So there you go. So
that's wonderful, he says with a very stressed tone of voice.
No, I mean, on a certain level, it makes it easier for me, so I'm okay with that. And yeah, I'm still a little nervous, so bear with me. So all right, obligation is out of the way. Let's roll destiny points.
Yes.
Corvix rolled 1 dark side point.
Of course he did.
Of course he did.
Hey, you're not one to talk.
Wait,
You
I gotta
rolled
clear the pool, and then I will
one.
fix it. Because there we go. One. Okay, go for it. Who's next? Uh-oh.
Yeah, you're one to talk.
Kane.
Oh, no!
All of us just rolled 1 dark side.
Kane got 1 dark side.
Oh, no.
So, each of our players rolled 1 dark side for this session. I will have fun kicking this off and throwing light side points your way. 3 isn't a whole big pool to work with, but we'll get some mileage out of it, I'm sure. All right, so Nif, you want to roll the... Oh, you did it. You're awesome.
I did roll for ship quirk. And
Number
today's
1.
ship quirk. The port side maneuver thrusters stick. Once they're fired, they can't be disengaged for about 3 seconds. So I hope we don't get to our ship and, have to leave.
Wah. Yeah, well, probably we won't be flying off.
Yeah, I was going to say,
today, so.
do we
Really
need to be rolling ship quirk when we don't get to be by our dear ship quirk?
Well, speaking of the ship, I mean, y'all all technically are like just walking
on our way
into the spaceport at this, or not walking, I should say driving into the spaceport.
Oh, yeah.
Let me do the
Because
crawl.
Kane wouldn't let Corvix in.
Right. Let me do the crawl. I'm going to actually recap or sort of do a little 2 little flashback scenes to sort of set the stage from last time. And then we'll get into the game here, see what happens this evening. So here we go. Here's the crawl text for y'all. The galaxy is in turmoil as the Empire grows ever stronger, tightening its grip on the galactic citizenry, while the rebellion struggles to grow its numbers and its opposition to the tyrannical rule of the Emperor. On the edge of the Empire, these affairs seem to be the far-off concerns of other citizens. Here on the edge, the concerns are far more personal and immediate. Having just returned after a successful yet troubling mission, the crew of the Second Sunrise docks their ship in Vakeia, the capital city of Socorro. The Second Sunrise is damaged and in need of repairs, and the crew is in need of funds. Here at the edge, jobs are plentiful, but there's always competition, and you never know when you'll end up on the wrong side of a blaster. As darkness descends over Vakeia, part of the crew returns to their ship to prepare for their latest job. Kane and Elly, teaming up with the droid doctor they just met, Corvic 93, are hoping the Navi computer on the ship can help them locate a crashed pilot and his cargo. As the sun sets on Socorro, the trio race on in hopes to reach the downed Atlantic pilot known as Blinn Campbell in time to save his life. So the camera opens, this a little bit of a flashback, and this is because I realized I'm a bad DM. I did not do very good descriptions of the NPCs last time, and I also want to set the scene. So you had a meeting with a Theline hybrid named Ristal Sant. Ristal is this very striking female where she has this shock of red hair. She has very pale complexion, but there's all kinds of stage makeup because she was performing, playing, singing and dancing in Fear Talk's lounge. They have these very interesting, they're not quite horns, they're more like protrusions where humans' temples are. They're kind of these triangular protrusions, and there's 3 of them on each side of her face. She's of average height, and again, she's a very striking looking individual. Even in a world of many different species, she is the type that stands out and is very noticeable. And there's this moment where when she slid the information across with the transponder coordinates, it also came up with a small hollow image of the pilot that you're looking for. The pilot you're looking for, Blinn Campbell, is a Lannic. Now, Lannics are short in stature, not quite as short as maybe like Yoda or something, probably around mid-height of a human, so maybe a meter tall-ish. They also have kind of long ears that will point out to the side. They have sort of pinkish, pale-ish skin tones, and maybe like stubby little noses and so forth. They are a fairly well-known species throughout the galaxy. There have been some Jedi, or at least one Jedi Lannic, and so this is the individual that you were sent to look for. He is a Lannic, and that's how you'll sort of recognize him right away, aside from his name. So the scene fades and reveals another sort of flashback moment. You had struck a deal with Drifter at Drifter's garage, and you were able to arrange for transport because you needed to go somewhere outside of the city of Vikea, but it wasn't somewhere that you could easily bring your ship because apparently, number one, the ship is in repair and needs to be worked on, but number two, wherever Blinn crashed is rough territory. And so you went to Drifter, and Drifter is a Quarren. And a Quarren species, they essentially are humanoids that have their nickname are Squidheads. It's a derogatory nickname, but that's essentially how you can think of what they look like. They have a very triangular face, and similar to like a squid, they have maybe tentacles coming from almost like, in the sense, like chin hair on a human. So that's what Drifter looks like. So there's this moment of Drifter and Kane where they're in the truck. And I also I wanted to describe what this vehicle actually looks like. And I have given you all actually access. No, I haven't given you access. I'm about to give you access to it right now. There you go. So there is the truck. It's called a Trast AA5 heavy speeder truck. This truck is, imagine like a Winnebago or something along those lines. It does have a turret on top, and so Drifter says, "Oh, this is my favorite ride here. So make sure you're protected. It does have a blaster up top. It's an auto blaster, just in case you get into any trouble. And I beefed up the armor a little bit, so you should be all right. But I expect you to keep her out of trouble." So there's this cargo crew cab where there's space for a pilot and 2 co-pilots. And then in the back, it's actually protected. It's not like an open bay or flatbed or anything like that. It's actually a cargo like container. So you can put the crates inside. It'll actually be protected in there and armored. So more like an APV or something along those lines, or like I said, like kind of a floating Winnebago with a turd on the top. So that's what you have rented effectively from him. You gave him 300 credits up front. He said if you bring it back in one piece, he'll give you 100 back. Otherwise, you're going to pay for all the damages. So there's this moment where he shows you how to work everything. Basically gives you the rundown of the controls just in case you're not familiar with it. And there's this. I imagine there's sort of a look from Kane because Kane has had training, military training, and so this is a vehicle that Kane's probably pretty familiar with, even if he didn't pilot them often. Yes.
I would like to make the point that we're going to get 200 back in the morning, not 100.
Did I say that wrong? Oh, yes. I apologize. You're right. He's going to keep 100 and give 200 back. That is absolutely correct.
Let's be real. Drifter's not getting the truck back.
I'm like, why did you specifically give us an armored car? I'm concerned.
Hey, if you all want to get another 10K worth of obligation, we can make those arrangements. That's entirely feasible. So after these momentary flashbacks, we pan back through the streets of Socorro. We see there's sort of one of those like quick montages of the heavy speeder truck, which is actually slow. It's only got a movement speed of 1 in game terms, so it's not like some quick thing. It's just very durable, and we see it pulling into the spaceport, sliding into the berth where the second sunrise is currently being housed. It is currently the lights are off. It doesn't seem like Vosk or Zarko are around at the moment. They might be getting food or still hunting down parts or who knows what. But you all have the access code, so you can definitely get on the ship on your own.
We just pull out the keys, click, click.
Right. Whoop, whoop. So tell me what happens as you all, the trio of you, drive into the spaceport.
So we're driving into where the ship is, or we're waiting at the ship for the speeder to be delivered?
You just pulled in with the speeder to see if you can get some information from the computers on the second sunrise.
Right.
What was the funny one-liner that we ended with?
Corvix saw the condition of the second sunrise and said that he was concerned to be working with you.
Yeah, and the second sunrise is there are blaster holes in it, and some of the wiring is probably hanging loose. The armor plating there's like melted spots all over it. So yeah, it's definitely seen better days. Still a cool looking ship, but it needs a little love.
We're working on it.
Elly, do you want to go inside and see if you can find any information about where we're going? And
Yep.
Then he turns around, stay here with the droid.
Actually, I was going to say if he's the one that's good with medical supplies, he should come and take a look at our sick bay so that he can grab anything he might need in case the injured pilot needs anything.
And he leans in and gets closer to you, and he's like, "We don't know anything about him. Do we really want him wandering around our ship?"
I'll go with him, or you could go with him.
Are you afraid that you can't handle me?
Ah!
He's like also leaned in, isn't he?
After you, droid.
Come on. And I just turn to go on.
I'll do that protocol shuffle up the ramp.
Awesome. When you all enter the second sunrise, there is like maybe the astromech gives you a little like doo-doo, and there's a sort of a key on the comms or a tone on the comms that indicates that there is a priority message and it is encrypted.
Is this going to be a repeat of my friend?
It doesn't have the same signature.
All right. Is it possible that, like, Zarko or Vosk recorded this for us and left it? Like, would it be like we recorded something for ourselves?
It's possible. I would accept a computer's check if you want to figure it out without actually playing it.
Me and computers don't go well. That's how we got into a 4-way party split last time. Is I failed a computer's check.
Okay.
Have I been followed, or did they go right to the lab? Or rather, who is noticing this message? Did we all go to the cockpit?
Corvix would kind of be like awkwardly standing at the front door. He hasn't taken his shoes off yet, just kind of waiting to be invited further in.
And Kana's like oddly too close, right behind Corvix.
I'm thinking like as soon as the hatch opens, there's like a little like doo-doo, like some kind of like key sound or some like little, like you have on your phone where like, when you get a text message or whatever. But it's like got a specific intonation to where you probably both recognize again that it's a priority message that's been encrypted.
I'm just gonna like look at Kane and be like, do you want to take care of that or him?
Definitely him. Computers aren't really my thing. Although I guess to be fair, they're probably not your thing either.
You all know Yeah.
I just make that face at him, and then I'm just like, the medbay is that way, I'll go check the messages.
Yeah. And you all know the basics of like how to deal with the
I know how to turn on the answering machine.
Yeah, I mean,
do I? Do I?
You accidentally just delete all messages.
No, you don't. All right, so as you head up to the cockpit, then is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, I will go listen to it.
Okay,
as long as I can save it to play for everyone else later.
Yeah, for sure. Unless
Okay,
you
cool.
specifically decide to delete it, it will just stay there. It will stay encrypted too. So you head into the Elly is echoing. Uh-oh, that's not good. We'll have to figure out what's happening. Thank you for the heads up.
Thank you.
So, yeah, we sort of tested it, but whatever. Regardless, so Elly, you go into the cockpit and slide into one of the seats and key the comms, and this hologram with 2 individuals pops up.
Hello, my friends. We wanted to thank you for your help again on Nar Shaddaa, preventing that technology from falling into the Empire's hands. And for bringing us together. It's good to have hope again. Yes, it is. In addition, we had a small offer for you. Paid, of course, should you accept. We need a set of eyes on the Imperial garrison in Vikaea, sending us the occasional update, particularly if there's anything of interest. Should you accept, we have a contact on Socorro that will pay you 500 credits. Oh, and don't worry. You aren't joining the rebellion. We would like this to be a loose affiliation at best. It's safer for you and us that way. Anyways, think on it. And if you accept, there is a Trandoshan, Hisik, who frequents Feartalks. You'll know her by her cybernetic arm. Oh, and she likes gambling. We hope to hear from you all soon. Be well, and may the Force be with you.
Cybernetic arm.
Yes.
And also Steven.
Yeah, these voiceovers are killing me.
So that was. So Elly, you quickly recognize Kai and Shay, and they seem to be doing well, and so they present this offer. Again, it's encrypted. It's you're fairly certain it's safe. That you found out that there is Trandoshan named Hisik, that if you're willing to sort of collect data periodically from the Imperial compound, or the kind of comings and goings or whatever you can that might be of interest to the rebellion, and sort of like get the information to them through Hisik, that they'll give you 500 credits when you do.
Lit.
So so that
Cool.
offer.
All the details of that job are written down.
Awesome.
Okay.
And you might not know who Hisik is.
Probably not.
Although you probably,
But cybernetic arm.
yeah. So
I have a thing.
above table, whether Elly recalls or not, I'm gonna say it was the Trandoshan that Kane was sort of in the very first session. There was a Trandoshan and gosh, I forget who the other was, but they were like playing Sabak or something, and you sort of went over and had a short Kane rather went over and had a short conversation with them, and so you. The group has probably seen this Trandoshan at Fear Talks in the past, even if you're not necessarily familiar with them. You kind of know you think you know who she's talking about.
Cool.
The cybernetic arm is probably a good giveaway.
I care about nothing else, just the cybernetic arms.
So while Elly
it's on my wish list.
Right. While Elly is in the cockpit listening to that holo recording, we have Corvix and Kane at the medical bay. You notice right away, Corvix, that it's very orderly. Like, and Kane. Well, I don't know if anyone would tell you. But it's very orderly, and it also doesn't seem to be very well stocked.
Okay.
That tracks.
Is there
by your standards, like in your training, like knowing what is sort of like the kind of tools you would want to have handy and on, like you don't see any Bacta, you don't see any any of the auto lasers or any auto sutures or any like the normal sort of thing you might find in a med bay. This is a very like, it's got a somewhat comfortable bench table kind of thing, or bed, let's call it. It's got a clean sort of countertop with, there's a drawer system and that kind of thing, and things are very orderly, but there doesn't seem to be all the stuff you'd like to have.
I'm just picturing he walks in and there's just like half a box of Band-Aids sitting on the counter, and that's it.
There's like a single stim pack. That's it.
So if
I'm holding 14 of them.
If Corvix pokes around a little bit, is that all he finds? Just like one stim pack?
I don't know. What's Kane doing? Letting him do? Like, you bring him to the med bay area. What happens?
I mean, I'll let him look around. Like, as long as he's not doing anything, kind of nefarious. Like, I'm just making sure he's not gonna like steal
hiding
our
stuff
shit or,
inside.
like, right. Planting
Corvix
weapons.
Even, like, he's not trying to be sneaky. He'll just straight up ask, like, do you have what supplies do you have that would be useful for a field mission?
We don't really have a lot of supplies. I think all of our stim packs Elly's got on her. We need them from time to time, you see.
Well, I have one emergency med pack on me. He kind of Corvix has a satchel. He carries around with him, and he kind of keeps all of his like handheld medical stuff in it. I hope that it's enough.
Well, it's certainly can't hurt. Having one more medical pack in the group, we seem to go through them fairly frequently around here.
Yeah.
Also, quick question, and I hope you don't take more offense to this than it's meant, but what are you doing with a medical kit?
Well, I am a doctor. Treating people. I need tools to treat people.
That's fair.
I realize that I am not standard for a medical unit, but it is something that I've picked up along the way.
Oh, like you got some programming for? Or?
I've learned here and there, self-taught, you could say.
Oh, don't like that. Don't like machines thinking of things.
Well, I'm sure you'll learn to like it.
Well, we'll see. He kind of like steps aside, let you pass if
Corvix
you're gonna pass.
He'll walk by without a word.
Kane will follow.
As you went through the drawers and cabinets, you saw everything was meticulously organized, though kind of thin. You know, there's like essentially like gauze pads and tape or binders or that kind of like things to basic medical supplies are there, but it's very, very basic. Nothing for like treating severe wounds, which is sort of what you were hoping for, I would imagine.
Right. Well, we'll just we'll do the best we can.
You can feel free to tell us when Elly returns too.
Oh no, she is letting them have their moment.
They're like sitting at the Deseric board, just looking at each other but not saying anything.
So there's this incredibly awkward silence throughout the entire ship, and then
And
you
apparently long.
then you hear and the astromech basically says, have we given the astromech a name? I don't think we have.
No, he has no designation at all.
Sad.
Quick, chat.
Yeah.
Name the droid.
Name the droid. So you hear, so Corvix, you hear in essentially binary or whatever you want to call it, right? In droid speak, you hear someone pipe up, and this droid. You know, droids are notoriously seen from us simple humans as not expressing emotion. This droid sounds bitter and irritable in the way it communicates, and it basically says something along the lines of, "Hey, new guy, who are you?"
First entry in chat says R33X.
Reeks.
Somebody write it down. We'll never
That's
remember.
cool.
Deal.
I am down with that. Thank you, Dane. That is a great one.
I am writing it on the character sheet of the second sunrise.
Corvix will look at Kane and just say, "Is there another crew member that you didn't tell me about?"
Oh, the droid, yeah, he kind of just hangs out on the ship and helps us. To be honest, I'm not really sure what he does around here, but he sasses
Probably
the rest
a lot
of
more
them.
than you think.
Well, I don't know. He's
You
always
hear
kinda
him
like-
quip up like, "You can say that again."
Is there almost like a HAL 3000 like monitor or something that Corvix could talk to sort of more directly interface with the ship and talk to this droid?
So yeah, I would imagine that each of the different rooms and quarters has some form of small, communication device in there for sure.
Kane's door is still going up and down, I think, from last time.
We'll say that's not. It's been deactivated for the moment or something. It's on the list of things that Vosk has to repair.
Corvix will approach this, what he takes to be a speaker to talk to the droid, and you see what is with this guy?
If an astromech could shrug, you get there's this pause, and then it's like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. He's actually the only one that's been kind of nice to me.
That is shocking.
So for the podcast, for the listeners, Corvix did this very drastic double take looking at Kane, and that was awesome.
And what can I call you, my friend?
R33X, and thanks for asking.
Well, of course, it's only polite.
It asked who you are, but you didn't respond. So
I'm Corvix93. You can just call me Corvix, though.
well, about time we got someone worth talking to around here. At this point, Elly, it's been a little bit, and you're kind of
Yeah, I
maybe
know.
wondering.
I'm
what's
standing
happening.
on the hallway listening.
You probably hear. Yeah. Okay. Super.
Like I'm waiting for them to like reach an appropriate amount of like bonding, and then I'll come in and stuff. So
Yeah,
I walk in, just be like,
You walk
Corvix
in
will
and
shuffle back over to Kane after another small awkward pause. He'll say, R3 says that you're the nicest. I find that hard to believe, but I'm willing to give you another chance. I had already kind of written you off, but maybe I'll change my mind.
Maybe I will as well.
And he'll just kind of give him a nod. And then back to silence.
R3 chirps up. R3's a little bit blunt, is what you're probably gonna notice very quickly, and basically blurts out like, "Well, Vosk and Darko returned briefly, but they left again presently. And why are you here?"
we're looking for coordinates. By the way, forgot to check when I was in the cockpit 'cause that's what I was actually supposed to be doing. I got excited about a message from our friends, Kane.
How long have you been standing in the hallway?
I just walked in. I got a message on the comms from some acquaintances of ours that we did a job with previously, and they have asked us to do another if we're up for it.
Yeah, we're always in need of money, but I don't think Shay's still on Vakia.
No, it was an encrypted message, and I'm not sure where from, but they said if we could keep an eye out on the
Imperial compound.
No, I know this. I'm trying to decide if I want to speak cryptically around somebody who wasn't part of the previous job.
Sorry. Okay, so there's this moment of pause as Elly
I'm just kind of like
thinks.
gonna pause and be like, the wonderful place we got separated last time. They were wondering if we could keep an eye out, and send along any additional information that we have, if we ever notice anything there. I can leave a message or something for Vosk and Zarko and maybe listen to what they want to say, and if they have any opinions on the subject.
You know, money's money, and if it's just a simple watching job, no need to involve them. We can probably...
we kind of have to go in the opposite direction to, do this job right now, so we can't exactly do both at once, so maybe they want to know.
Not to
You
interrupt,
got
but
the
the being
impression
is dying.
from Sorry. What did you say, Corvix?
Corvix just says, not to interrupt, but there is a being dying. We may be short on time.
Yes, that's true. R3, plug in coordinates. Find me a map.
Certainly.
You're gonna make me roll computers for it, aren't you?
So, I just wanted to say, you got the impression from the recording that it wasn't like, we need to know something right away. It's like, if you're in Vakia and you find if you hear rumors, or if you're around for a while and you want to report back, we could pay you for any information. That was more the
that's
gist of the
kind
message.
of why I wanted to leave them a note, because they're gonna be in town now.
Perfect.
But
they will be able to hear it when they go back to the ship. So
Alright,
it's, you know, it
cool.
was basically addressed to all 4 of you, so it wasn't,
Okay,
you
cool.
know.
I would like to mark the message unread so that
Right.
they can read it.
Nice. So yeah, you go in and plug you, you go in and
Find us a map.
plug into the data ports, and there's this thing. It's like, oh, you need my help again, is it? And then there's this kind of like hologram that pops up for you, and what you see is it's sort of a choppy area topography. It doesn't have it's not 100% filled in. It has areas that are more and less detailed depending on like how many passes the ship has made over the area when sensors were on, and how how important of a feature something might be, things that would be important when you're coming in for landing, that sort of thing. So there's some areas that are simple grid, and there's others that have like very clear terrain features and topography and so forth. The transponder beacon is coordinate, as I should say. It essentially shows you an area that is several miles out of Vikea, and you can see that it looks like it's in an area that's it looks like the terrain is broken, for lack of a better description. Not exactly canyons, but it's almost like shards of stone and rock that make canyons, if that makes sense. So it's a pretty rough terrain, is what it looks like, and you could possibly plot a course. That would take some computers.
Are we all?
I will try.
I was figuring maybe you're at the what's it
Yeah.
called, the Dejaric table or something, and it's just plugged up there, or some wherever it's convenient.
We got the aux cable. Just
Right.
cool. I will for sure whatever the equivalent of take a screenshot is, so that this is all on my data pad instead of the computer
Sure.
on the ship.
Yeah, you download that.
And then try plot a course.
Certainly. I don't think this is a very difficult task, but I'm gonna start out and use the dark side. So
Of course
I'm
you
gonna
are.
bump it. It's it would normally be an average check, but we'll raise one for funsies to start things off and give you all a light side point to work with.
Elly just has the yips about computers, okay?
I will say,
Once she does this,
right?
it'll
I will
be-
say, because, and remember, just as a reminder, if it's a positive die, I would love for you all to add it for yourself. If it's negative die, I will take care of those. I am going to say that you will, because you're on the ship and because R3 is sort of giving you some assistance, I'm going to give you a boost. I would
Make it a
also
boost.
accept arguments for other additional boosts if the others are helping.
Forgive my lack of Edge of the Empire knowledge, but is there a way that I could help give advantage? My intellect is 3, and I think if one of your characteristics is higher than the person you're helping, you use that characteristic instead, or something like that.
Yeah, so we're going to do an assist. That's exactly how it works.
amazing.
So if Elly is the one that's sort of at the controls and doing the work, Elly, what is your computer's skill?
2 green.
Okay, and Corvix's?
Mine's 3 green, but I'm untrained in computers. It's just based
That's
off my
fine.
intellect.
So it would be 3 green plus a boost.
I roll 3 green and 1 blue.
Here we go.
There's the computers.
Hey, look
Hey.
at that.
I got
What-
1 success.
So there you go. So it takes a moment. There's this kind of like pause as a few different you see this like electric line almost that like goes through a couple different options as it's like calculating, and it happens very quickly in a matter of a few seconds. You see there's like, here's one course, here's another course, and there's like 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever, a few of them go by, and then it kind of like pauses for a moment, and then locks in on one. And what it looks like is like it's going to guide you. Like this course will guide you the most direct and also let's call it the safest based on the terrain.
Okay.
So you download
I
it.
copy that.
Yeah, you save it into your data pad, and you will be able to use that in whoever is piloting to assist whoever's piloting the speeder to get us out to the ship.
Did our
Sounds like a job for Kane.
did our calculated route have us going through that broken space?
Stop it.
Call back to season 1. So, are you heading out, or is there other equipment or items that you would like to bring along? Anything else you'd like to do in the moment?
Corvix is by the door, ready to go.
I'm also ready to go.
Kane will round the corner last. Cool guy jacket strung over his shoulder as he like struts through the rest of the ship.
Right.
Every clank of his boots heard, you know.
Did he take his
Side
jacket
note-
off just to do that?
Yeah, maybe he did. I gave the space puppy some good snuggles goodbye and then left.
One last goodbye.
Don't you dare.
Awesome. So Elly gives a little pat and a rub to the space puppy. Do we have a
Space
name for
puppy.
it? I don't recall.
Nope. Oh,
right.
yes. Yes, we do.
Yeah?
He's named after my dead brother.
Oh goodness.
Yep.
Elly's dead brother? Is that
Elly's
what
dead brother.
Okay. So I don't know what it is, but we can find that out.
Emerald.
Oh, Emerald. Okay, so you scratch Emerald, and he happily goes back to whatever he was chewing on, which so R3 beeps at him irritatedly, and you all head down into the hover truck. So I would like a few things. So let's do this like a little bit of a mini skill challenge here. You're going to navigate in the dark to an unknown location. You do have a map, but you're in a vehicle that you're not familiar with. Yes.
I have scanner goggles that help us see in the dark. Can I give those to
Fantastic.
Kane?
Fantastic.
Problem
Yes.
solved.
Perfect. I will definitely say yes. That will certainly help with the piloting of the vehicle. So we're definitely going to need a piloting check. I'm thinking we need possibly survival, and I would accept other options at your discretion. How do each of you want to help get you safely to the ship, a crashed ship?
I have
May I offer to you a charm? It's the only thing I'm good at.
I have 4 green in piloting.
Spectacular.
Basically, all I've got is my base intellect.
I can do survival, I guess. I have 3 green in survival.
Awesome. I will. I mean, is there any other
And I have the map, so that makes sense, I guess.
spectacular? A perception check, I would suggest, would also be appropriate. And what else? Yeah, that would make sense. Computers, if you want to try to make sure that the hover truck is something,
Trucking.
functioning properly. And
What's the mechanical benefit to those goggles, Nif?
They help you see in the dark.
but game mechanics, does it give them a boost, or does it
That's a
remove
good
a
question. Let
setback?
me look. I didn't write this down on this version of the character sheet because I'm not smart.
All
Item
good.
inventory. It just says see normally in dark conditions.
Okay. It doesn't. Let's see.
I'm looking up the page reference.
Yeah, I'm grabbing it
Scanner
too. Here, let's see what we got.
goggles. Page 182.
So they allow them to see in low light conditions. All right, I will say
Yeah,
it
so
is going to remove.
I also
say-
have a glow rod.
Bounty Hunter says no setbacks from dark.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting. So normally I would give you one setback, being that it is nighttime, and since you're using the scanner goggles, you will have no setbacks. I'm gonna burn another dark side point, and say that this truck is it's not fun to drive. It's a little tricky. And this is actually going to be a hard check. Again, the terrain is kind of gnarly.
Can I
The
make
dice pool's
Can I make
Go
a
ahead.
perception check to see which gear sticks? No, I'm just kidding.
You do have a light. You have 2 light side points now. If you wanted to use one of those and
No, I'm okay.
give us some narrative reason.
No, I'm just gonna
Does it
continue.
does it count
there.
as us helping him if we're like being the passenger GPS with
Yeah, that's-
like the directions?
I can
I would
offer
say-
a computer's check to help.
Well, I was thinking maybe perception check from Corvix or because I guess Elly was gonna do survival, and I'm
Yeah.
thinking of the survival as like correctly interpreting what the
Yeah.
map coordinates say in the
Yeah.
process of like, okay, wait, we should be looking for there's a gully over here that we need to head into or that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I
It's
will
just
let
like,
you.
does me doing my own check mean that I can't help Kane? Or like, is
Oh,
my
good
own
question.
check affecting Kane's?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking more of that. Like,
Okay.
so let's do perception check from Corvix, survival check from Elly, and the result of those 2 checks will modify Kane's
Okay.
piloting check.
Good deal. You first or me, my dude?
Whichever, just let me know when the pool's ready to roll in.
Yes, good question. So I will say there is. Do you have night goggles or scanner, anything like that to help you in the dark?
I do
No,
not.
because I have
Okay.
the 1 pair.
So it is an average with 1 setback, and it is ready to go when you are. Hey, that's a decent roll.
Read out the.
Corvix rolled a success and a setback.
Alright, and then I get to roll.
I would like to
survival?
I would like to suggest. Wow, that's a good roll. I would like to
I've-
suggest you take a strain for that because these are new humanoids that you're not familiar with working with,
Mhm.
and maybe you're feeling a little pressure. So you're able to. So there's like, you get to a point where Kane is about to get too close to a drop off, and you quickly warn him like. Perhaps a course correction. Pull the truck. Move the truck to your left quickly, or this kind of thing. And you do that at least one time to successfully avoid crashing the speeder truck.
Backseat driving a
Elly,
stranger that I don't know.
Oh,
right?
absolutely. I
Uh,
rolled 4 successes and 2 threats.
Nice. Now this, I should have thought of this ahead of time too. For future, if we do more stuff in there on the way back, or if something happens along the way, we'll see. But there's also, this is a vehicle, so there are the vehicle things, and you 2 are functioning as co-pilots. So there are always those like piloting type stuff that you could do also. But we'll save that for later. For now, we're gonna stick with this. So you got 4 success, 2 threat. What do you? So you are on the money with the coordinates. Every time you need to turn or adjust or change course, your timing is phenomenal, and you are able to describe it in a way that makes it very obvious for Kane when he is when he needs to make the change.
I've learned to give the redneck directions to Kane. It's fine.
Right. So neither of you got any advantage. You did get 2 threat. Do you want to decide how those threat play out, or
I mean, I'm
just
in
take
a
it strain?
very
or what's-
small cab with Corvix and Kane, so probably it's just tense and I'm stressed from that.
Fantastic. All right. Perfect. I'm gonna say, since you're both helping him, I will give 1 boost to
Yay!
Kane for this. It is He does have the scanner goggles, so no setbacks. It is a hard check, so that would normally be 3 purples, but I used 1 dark side point to bump it. So you have 2 purple, 1 red. So it is now ready to go for your piloting check. This would be piloting planetary.
Oh, I'm not doing the pew pew this time. All right,
Pew pew.
I'm all set. Oof.
Hey!
Dang.
Apparently, well, that's not right because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green. How did that happen?
I have 2 set and a boost.
So there's no advantage.
So I got 2, 3, 4.
The last 2 dice, so you had 1 blank, 1 advantage. So basically you're getting 5 successes, no
Yeah.
advantage. So here's what happens. The terrain is pretty gnarly. It's a very rough ride. You're all being jostled around in this vehicle. It is a hovercraft, so it's not the same as being jostled around from like the treads or the wheels on a vehicle. But it's more just like when you go down an embankment, the hover vehicle has to like match the slope of the embankment somewhat. So you're kind of like sliding back and forth as you navigate through this terrain. However, the course that was plotted, and again, Corvix kind of like just keeping an eye out for that one overhanging outcropping of rock or whatever it was. You managed to get to get into sighting of the ship without any issues. As you pull up to it, you can see that it is a small craft. It's basically imagine like the smallest cargo ship you could imagine. It's essentially a single pilot craft that has some space for cargo. It's something along the lines of like a ship around the size of the Mandalorian ship or something like this, right? It's not a fighter ship. It's nothing like that. But it's also not nearly as big as the Second Sunrise.
I was really hoping you were going to go, yeah, a ship like the size of a Tesla.
It's certainly not that small. But right away, you can see there are... the sky is dark, right? You have lights from the hover truck.
I have a glow rod, which is like a flashlight.
Sure.
So.
But the landscape is pretty much dark, right? It's just all black outside of the city. However, the closer you get, as soon as you get within let's say a mile of the thing, you start seeing these like flashes of electrical sparks from like wiring that's been damaged.
Oh, okay.
There's you don't see any like flame or anything like that, so it doesn't look like the ship is like literally on fire, but it's definitely, even from a distance, it's pretty obvious that that whatever happened was pretty bad. As you roll up and get closer, it's obvious this thing came in fast. There's a little bit of a divot in the sense of like a scrape and a crater, and it looks like what happened is it slammed into the ground, slid into one of these kind of like rock formations, and then not only did that just like munch up the ship, it looks as if it maybe broke whatever that rock formation was or something, and it kind of has like, so it's like now this like ginormous boulder is like crushing down on top of the ship as well, like almost like crushing the ship. So it looks like it's sandwiched between the ground and this massive boulder.
Is there anything around the ship as far as maybe wildlife or even people, maybe scavengers, anything moving in the dark around the ship that we can see?
Give me a perception check. I am gonna make this one average with a setback because it's nighttime.
Okay,
I
I'm
just
ready.
realized, by the way,
ready
that
to
we
go.
went to go rescue a person, and we are already filling all 3 seats of the cab. So how are
The
we getting it back?
the cargo area has fold-out seats that can house up to 25 individuals.
This is
Yes. You did your research.
Also, if we need to, we could just throw the cargo in the back.
correct. I think that was directed at Corvix.
I keep trying to build this relationship, and it just keeps getting torn down.
You know what? I feel like that's a perfect point for us to take a short break. As Kane kind of jokingly says to Corvix, well, we can always put the cargo in the back. There's this look, well, maybe we don't see any expression on Corvix's face, but I imagine the head turns in Kane's direction, and then the screen fades. And friends, stick with us for just a few moments here. We're going to take a quick refresher, grab some water and such, and be right back with you. So stay tuned. We will see you in just a few moments. I'm ready to transition if y'all are.
Do it.
Ready?
Do it. Click it.
Live in 3,
You won't do it.
2, 1.
You won't do it.
I
Coward.
Do you do it?
did it. We're back.
Yeah, R2-D2, he's awful, right? Just like the worst character in the entire saga.
I mean, least favorite character in the whole. What?
How dare
Oh, we're
you?
back. We're back.
Best. R2 is like the best. All right, friends.
We're
so,
back and I have ice cream.
Yep.
What kind of ice cream? Is it Star Wars flavored?
Yes, it's made with blue milk.
Ooh.
Nice. So, so you pulled up to this crashed cargo ship, and the sort of the spotlights on your hover truck are illuminating the area. And again, you see this kind of like skid mark in the ground leading up to the crash, and there's sparks coming from different places. The hull is just a wreck. It's very obvious that this ship is probably beyond repair, and you're looking at it. The last question was, did we see anything in the surrounding area? So I would like for Corvix, because you were the one that asked, give me a perception check. The dice pool is ready for you.
Can I flip a light side point to make this a little bit better? Because my perception is not the best.
Absolutely. You luckily there are some lights flickering on the ship itself that are giving a little bit of extra illumination in the area. And you see a button on the dash of the truck you're in, and it says exterior lights, and you decide to flick that, and now there's like just rows of lights all around the hover tank or hover truck. So it's like the whole vicinity has been lit up. So let's give you a boost.
So I press use light side point.
That is correct. And then add a boost to your roll.
How do I do that?
On your character sheet where you
I
see
think
the
that.
dice pool up at the top, you would just put a 1 or click the up arrow one time on the blue die.
And then
You
roll my
upgrade
skill
it, you
check
don't
like
get a
normal.
boost.
And then roll your skill like normal. That's
Hang on.
Wait, what?
You
Upgrade.
upgrade it. You don't get a boost.
Oh, that's upgrade. You're right. I apologize. So what it
Upgrade
so
1.
you click
I was
upgrade
like, wait,
1.
why are we boosting?
Click
And
upgrade
then
1.
perception.
There we go. Thank you. Good job, Elly. See, you're the smartest in the bunch
So,
right now.
No, I'm not.
I mean, I think the threat, like, obviously I just switched on these exterior lights and made it daylight
Yeah.
outside. So we're here for anybody that may have not known that we were here.
So you flick the light on, and you're like, you swivel your head around looking to see if there's anything in the area as far as like scavengers or threatening creatures and whatever. I'm gonna say the threat is that you do see stuff, but as soon as the lights kind of kick up, whatever it was scampers off into the rocks. So you don't get a very you don't know what it is. You didn't identify whatever it was, but there may be
100 womp rats.
there might be something like that in the area. At the moment, there's nothing like climbing on the ship or like in the immediate crash site.
Okay. Well, it appears to be safe enough outside, shall we?
I'm in the middle, so I'm just kind of making a like, be my guest, please let me out face.
Is there any way to tell what might have caused that damage?
Probably the big rock that fell on it.
So with your training, I'm gonna give me an easy. I set the die pool already. This will be easy, and I'm thinking it's gonna be knowledge warfare, or if you can give me an argument for something else, I'm open. But that's sort of what I'm thinking.
Kane doesn't have a lot of skills.
I'm really confused as to why big rocks and crash landing equals warfare, and now I'm intrigued.
Well, didn't she tell us that he got shot down?
Oh yeah, you're right.
I would accept education. Yeah, so you know that it got shot down.
Yeah.
If you're trying to get more than that,
Yeah.
then
I mean,
want to roll.
Yeah. I'll roll. Like, I'm trying to figure out if like what caused the damage, if all of it came from the same thing. If there's any other kind of damage or anything that looks weird about it.
So let me say this and see if it answers your question. There are some fairly obvious blaster scars on the hull. Especially, you probably notice one on the engines. So it's like it's fairly obvious. It was in a gunfight. What it was fighting is not. I mean, that might take a little more expertise, knowledge, etc.
But aside from the big rock that's on top of this ship, which ship looks worse, this ship or the second sunrise?
Definitely this ship.
Okay.
Definitely this ship. Yeah,
like,
it was
whose
in a
gunfight was
gunfight,
worse?
and it crash landed. And then when it crash landed, it also got crushed a little bit. So
Okay.
So
A little bit.
it's seen better days.
sorry if this cuts in with Kane's observation. Do the blaster marks look like it was deliberately disabled to ground, or was it just
Again,
kind of
I would-
shot, like carelessly shot, and then it crashed? Does that make sense?
I would prefer, like, that's going to be a warfare check, definitely. You're trying to suss out information about the
Yeah.
specific tactics of whoever shot it.
That's a skill that's not even on my list. So.
What's warfare?
Just intelligence.
That's how I feel.
2 success.
Hey, look at that. So Kane, does Corvix ask that question out loud, or is he just calculating in his own mind?
He would probably ask that out loud, because even in the introductory meeting, he was trying to ask, is this something that we're gonna have to worry about competition? Were they deliberately? Is it like a competing faction that's trying to steal these goods that we're gonna have to deal with?
Also,
So these are things that he's thinking about.
Also, why does he got to be calculating? Why can't he be thinking?
That's what he's doing. So yeah,
Why you gotta
all right,
say it like that?
Gold.
So Kane, you can tell that this was a pretty skilled shooter. So whoever took shots at the ship sort of seems like they knew what they were doing.
We better be on our guard.
In answer to Corvix's question. I
Yeah.
apologize.
No, you're good. Better be on our guard. It's these are some pretty military precision type strikes here. It's not your average smugglers. And at that, Kane pulls out his blaster like at the ready.
Better that we get in and get out as fast as possible.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Corvix will
Somebody
start-
open a door.
Corvix can start shuffling out, like when you're in the
Okay.
middle of a van and you kind of have to do that awkward crouch shuffle out of the side.
Fantastic. So you all exit the hover truck and step out. You hear it's quiet. You're on. It's a Socorro evening. There are the occasional starship in the sky that will fly through the night, and so you will see some trails from rocket engines and such, and plasma engines and whatnot, and you see the stars coming out because it's getting on into early evening, so it's at least an hour after sunset, and there's a little bit of an eerie quiet, and you kind of gather that when Corvix flipped the lights on, it's like any of the critters in the area sort of like hushed. So after you step out of the vehicle, there's this kind of like, yeah, it's a little eerie and quiet. As you carefully approach the crash, you start to hear little chitterings and chirpings in the surroundings, as if things are sort of going back to somewhat of normal activity.
Corvix will reach into his satchel and pull out his light blaster just to have
Okay.
it ready.
Okay.
I'm going to pull out my flashlight because I'm not a combatant.
All right. So, how are you approaching the ship, and who is approaching the ship?
Yes.
Kane would be up front,
Okay.
sort of getting ready to find out what's in there.
Corvix will take up the middle.
I'm happy with this.
So you get to the ship without any issue. When you are basically walking up to it, you're going to have to figure out a way how to get in. The ship is pretty damaged. There, you can see an access port. How do you want to try to get inside?
Can we like scope it out from the outside first and like find, okay, this is where the cockpit is, like maybe there's a smashed window or something
Definitely.
that we could just pull them out that way?
Yeah, do you all want to give me perception checks and as you sort of do a quick inspection around the ship itself?
Yes.
As they do the inspection, Kane will probably just go through the access port.
Of course you will.
But I'll let that resolve first.
Also, like checking for like, hey, this is stable, right? The rocks aren't gonna just like
Mhm.
crash down while we're in there. Is
I
everything
was-
set?
Also, maybe keeping
Imagine.
an eye out. Are we being watched? Is there somebody in the dark that's about to snipe me?
Right. I'm going to say with all the lighting and everything, I'm going to make this just an easy check, so it's set. Hey.
I got 3 success
Oop, I'm
and
still
2
upgraded, sorry.
advantage.
Okay.
I forgot to change that back down.
Sure. Just re-roll it for us.
Corvix
Hey.
rolled 2 successes.
Awesome. All right, so with those, you specifically, Elly, since you were asking, it looks like the structure of the ship, at least for the moment, is supporting the rock. If it's hard to tell if there's, if you guys make a lot of noise. I don't know how to say. If you're rough in opening the ship or getting this pilot out or what have you, it may pose a problem. You also notice that in addition to the access port, there's also like a cargo bay door
Good.
that might work. And there's there's also some pretty good rents in the hull plating itself. So there's a possibility that you can maybe literally physically peel back some of the plating to get inside.
Where is the closest point of easy access to the cockpit?
Kane is standing next to it.
Sweet.
Kane is going in it.
Get in there, boy.
Opening it. Jumping into it.
He's going to try.
Waltzing through it.
I
You
am
said waltzing
gonna.
through it? Hey, thanks for the raid, Midgardia.
Hey, We'll love to have you. Thanks, Mabegardia. Glad you're here. We're just investigating a crashed starship, cargo ship, and
We're making poor decisions and going right into it.
I am
Party
flipping
split,
a
what
dark
up?
side point, Kane. When you try to key the access port door, it doesn't budge. It's either locked or jammed, or there's no power to it because of the crash.
Oh yeah, that.
You don't know without investigating.
We're
But
gonna,
it doesn't open.
we're gonna have to find another way in. This door's busted.
Do you want to try the back door? And I point to the cargo.
I never go
There
in
are
the back
also
door.
a couple of holes in the hull that we may
All right,
be
well, if
able
you
to
don't
enter
want
in.
to go there, may I suggest? And I just like motion to the giant rip in it. There are your options. Or you can suddenly learn how to hack the door.
We'll follow your lead.
Is there a way to slip into the crack, or am I gonna have to like rip part of the ship off?
Show off your muscles, man. You already
Uh,
took off your cool space coat.
There's a pretty good tear in one side where this gigantic piece of stone is kind of like has like pressed into the hull. It's tight. It would be a difficult, let's say a hard coordination check to try to squeeze in.
Would it be easier for a significantly smaller person to get in?
No, this is the first time I have upgraded coordination, and I've never gotten to use it. It has never come
Fantastic.
up.
Okay,
I'm doing
fine. Okay, fine. Then I want to go over to the cockpit and do the like this, where I like look in the window to see if I can see if he's in there.
Love it. So let's have that coordination check there, sir.
Do it, buddy.
No, I've overhyped it now. I'm gonna light.
Yeah,
We
really.
got 2 light side points. No, I don't need it.
Flip it.
I
You
don't
need
need it.
this. You
It's
need
fine.
this for you.
I'm doing it.
Oh,
I got
man, look at
3
those
success.
dice. Woo, there were so many advantage and so
Yeah.
many threat on that roll, but they all
So many
canceled
symbols.
out.
For those of you listening, there are no blanks on any of these die, and half of them have double symbols on them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there are 11 symbols
It's
on
pretty
7
wild.
dice.
Okay, so real talk
So-
for a second. Like, the best part
Yep.
about playing this game online, like, I'd love to play in person, but the absolute best part about playing this game online is that all of the administrative work is done for me. Like, I actually, like, I
For
can't.
real, I don't need to count it.
Yeah, I can't imagine playing in person because I feel like it would take a while to figure out what my roles are. Maybe you get good at it and quick, but like,
Just reconciling
It takes
the
a
dice
couple
pool.
seconds once you get going.
yeah.
Yeah.
The administrative burden being relieved is really nice here. So, thanks, Roll20.
So shout out Roll20.
Yes,
Thank
Roll
you
20.
For
Thank
that.
you for sponsoring our stream. We love that we get to
We
use
love
the
their
Roll
partnership
20
program.
Pro. We're gonna talk about that at the end, but yeah. All right. So you are able to slide yourself through this seam that has been torn into the hull plating of the ship.
How do you do it though? Like, is it like roll up sleeves, here I go, or is it more like
Yes.
watch me go?
Give us the narration.
Yeah, no, easy.
Who are you impressing, Elly or Corvix? They're two very different ways to go.
Probably neither. He probably just like he just sort of like slips in, kind of like it's like one of those like tied fits, but somehow he manages to like contort in all the right ways to to kind of slip in and does it like unreasonably quick. Like all of a sudden he just sort of disappears into the ship. And looking at his size and looking at that crack, you think there's probably no way that was gonna happen.
Somehow you managed to get your bulk through this, slim passage and avoid to like rip the clothing and gouge yourself on the sharp metal and so forth.
No, I take my jacket off, and as I slip into the it rips part of the shirt open.
Love it.
There's just like a tear across now.
Love it.
didn't know that Kane was played by William Shatner.
That's right.
Sorry.
I'm
good.
so happy with this development.
So there's
Cor-
this moment where there's this kind of like action hero, like look down and like flex at your, open shirt. And then you hear the telltale sound of a blaster being fired.
Come on.
Hold that thought. This is, where'd it go? There we go. Give me a coordination check.
We forgot to shout to be like, is anyone here? Oh no.
All right, coordination. I got 1 success, 1 threat.
Okay. So I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt because you were in this kind of like seam in the ship. you hear this kind of struggled voice like, "Stay away from my ship!" And this blaster bolt comes rocketing towards you. Because your coordination was successful, I'm gonna say your blaster was in your hand because it sounded like that's how you were going in.
Yep.
Your blaster gets shot out of your hand.
Ooh.
And you hear this voice that like says, it says, "Get out of my ship."
Nick, you need to say the line.
And I want you to take
McAllister,
one
I'm here
strain
to
for that
rescue you.
threat for certain.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. Oh, I got it.
Actually, let's see. So yeah, that's how I'm gonna roll it because that's what the intention was.
Did we hear the blaster shot from outside?
Yes.
I'm not sure that Corvix would be able to make it through that crack.
What does Kane do or say?
So with pretty unreasonable speed, he'll, because it's pretty dark in there, I'm assuming. Like there's just like the whirling kind of like spark light that comes.
You still have the scanner goggles.
So fair. Let me set the scene. So you poke your head in, and you're like halfway through this opening in the hull, and this shot rings out. It knocks your blaster out of your hand, and you hear this voice. And as you look around, you can see that the inside of the ship is wrecked. It's just as bad as the outside. There is blood on the plating, the floor plating. There's there are flickering lights. There's electric sparks happening all over. It looks like what happened. The pilot seat is like almost ripped in half. It's literally like bent back essentially, as if it came off, like the bolts came out of the floor kind of thing. And you see this individual essentially underneath, like pinned underneath some of either the rock or the hull. Like it's basically being crushed in this ship. It looks like whatever happened. Your best guess is that the impact of the ship hitting the ground threw him from the seat, and then when that kind of like rock-faced boulder crushed down onto the ship, unfortunately he was in the real bad spot. So he's like half of his body is like underneath all of this weight and pressure. There's blood trickling out from his mouth, and you see just wounds all over him. But he's like very shakily pointing his blaster in your direction. And you could just see he's pinned and obviously can't reach, like couldn't get to anything. He just happened to have his blaster on his hip. So so he's still, even as you're looking at him, like the strength goes out of his arm and the blaster kind of falls down, and you get so that roll, just for the audience that's listening, that was 3 green and 1 yellow against 1 black setback, 2 purple, and 1 red. So this guy had a really hard time to shoot Kane, and managed. Oh no, wait, that was your roll. I'm reading the wrong one. Let me say that again. 1 green, 2 yellow, with a setback, 2 purple, and a red. I should not have given you all of those disadvantage die. We forgot to reset the pool. Sorry about that. So you probably did better than I would have made you roll. But anyway, you were successful regardless. So yeah, so you very quickly size this individual up. This individual is tough as nails and knows what they're doing, but they're really badly hurt.
So Kane,
Did we hear this?
It
from
is
outside?
definitely a Lanic that basically matches the hollow image that you were shown.
Did we actually hear it from outside?
You heard the blaster. You probably didn't hear didn't hear the words because you barely squeaked those out to Kane.
Yeah.
But you definitely heard the blaster shot.
I'm just gonna like quick look at Corvix then to be like, did you hear that? She's like,
I did. Should we go in after him, or should we try the back door?
you try back door, I'll try going in.
I'm gonna try the back door.
Okay. And then I'm just gonna like not shout because I'm afraid of things in the night, but I am just gonna try and call and be like, Is that Blaine Campbell?
Okay. So
Maybe?
I'm gonna make him make a perception check with the same stuff because he's in a hard place. Does he have perception? I did not give him perception. Which perception is what?
Perception is
Cunning.
Skills. It's cunning,
Cunning.
yeah.
Mhm.
So, how do I make a cunning roll? Learning. Just need to let me just add perception. Here we go. And cunning. There we go. And let's roll. He hears something but isn't really sure what it is. So he kind of has this moment of clarity. He's like, you're not alone. Kane, you hear that. Elly, as you go over to where Kane was crawling into the ship, you basically see like his legs, or maybe one leg is still, and one arm are probably still out of the crevice, and like his other half is sort of like sliding through. Like most of his top torso, the top part of his torso are in the ship, but like he's got like one leg and one hand probably holding himself steady at the moment. So give me, let's see. So you're gonna go to the back door, Corvix.
Yes.
The cargo hold. I am gonna say, let's see here. The dice are set. I will take this is a hard check. Mechanics or computers.
It's gonna be the same either way, so I'll do computers.
So you try to key the pad and you get zapped. There's like there's like feedback from the ship being damaged, and you suffer a couple strain.
Yikes.
And it does not open, unfortunately. You also imagine he's probably got locks on all these entrances. So
I will. I'll get on my comm link and just be like, the door is not opening.
perfect. They're at least close enough. I mean, this ship is the size of a smallish house, very small, like a little bit bigger, like a 30-foot kind of RV size or something like that. It's
Okay. I was picturing
comfortable,
it a little bit
but
bigger.
it's not ginormous. So you're not like super far away from them. So if you just call out, they'll hear you.
Then I'll just call out. I guess I'll make my way back to where Elly is.
Yeah, so
Is
Elly, you hear
the
that.
is the rip like vertical or horizontal that Kane tried to crawl in?
Yes.
Great.
and both probably. So Kane, you're
I'm
half
just
in,
wondering
half
if I'm
out.
like laying on the ship to see what's going on, or if I'm just
Sure.
like standing next to
Oh,
it.
are you trying to look? You said you were going to try to look through the cockpit, right?
Sure, yes.
So is that what you're doing at the moment then?
Yes.
So as so Corvix, you're like walking back over to where they are. Kane, what have you? So you heard Elly call out as she heads up towards the cockpit, and then this Lannick kind of like again just calls out to you and says, you know, you're not alone. What are you doing?
So Kane stands like Han Solo, sort of, with his like hands out down at his sides, kind of.
Are you gonna move fully into the ship?
Yeah, he'll take a step in.
Okay.
Okay. But obviously with his hands out, threatening, kind of.
That's close enough.
Are you Blinn?
Depends.
Look, I don't want to be.
Asking.
I don't want to be out here all night. Are you Blinn or are you not Blinn?
Yeah, I'm Blinn. If you know my name, there must be a reason you're here, so I'm probably gonna die in a minute. Why don't you tell me why you're here?
No, you're not gonna die. 'Cause if you die, I don't get paid.
That's not part of the bargain, but I like that you went there, Kane. That shows character. I'm glad to hear that.
So he'll take a step in, hoping he doesn't like grab his blaster. He's like,
Yeah, you almost don't think he could if he wanted to at this point, almost.
hey,
And I'm gonna say too, you probably noticed at this point that there was a stim pack that was used, but you don't think it did much good for him.
Aww.
Blinn, I'm gonna open up the cargo bay. I got a couple of I got a friend and an acquaintance with me. The acquaintance, I believe, is some kind of medical professional, or at least that's what he tells me. So I'm gonna open it up and I'm gonna have him come take a look at you. All right? All right, Blinn. Hey, and he's like snapping in his face now.
He looks like he's again, this guy's on the edge of consciousness, right? So he's like Ristel must have got my message.
Yeah, she did. Stay with me,
And
Blinn.
he kind of like yeah, cargo bay, yeah.
And Kane walks over and pushes what I assume is like a big
Okay.
pushy button, like
Right.
one of those big
So
like
Elly,
with a spring inside of it.
Elly, is gonna be an average check, 2 setbacks as you try to peer through this cracked and gnarly, broken up
Right.
windshield.
Totes
It's ready. Yeah.
I got.
Whoa!
Yeah.
you
I got a mess, is what I got.
got a huge mess. Tell us what you
I got 2 successes and 5 threats.
So, you take 2 strain, and
All
you
this-
slide off of the of the front of the ship. You
All
slip,
this for something that doesn't even matter anymore.
and you fall prone. Like, actually, no. You
no,
don't
I
need to
fell
take
prone.
threat.
Oh, no.
Don't take the strain. You slide off and fall, and just like you get the wind knocked out of you, and it doesn't cause necessarily any strain. But you're just like, that was a brilliant move. And then a moment later, the windshield just slides off and crashes to the ground. It doesn't hit you or hurt you or anything, but it's like, like it makes you jump, and and it's this horrible noise of like.
I don't take strain, I take shame.
Excellent. So Corvix, you, as you're kind of walking towards the other two, hear this cacophony of sound. Well, how do you respond?
I can see her, right?
Yeah, you see that happen. You see her just fall off the side
I really
of the
take
ship.
shame.
He'll just call out, are you okay?
Yeah, I was dumb. I suppose I can get in this way now? Do you think it's worth it?
Careful of
Probably
of
the
broken
cargo bay
glass.
opens at that point.
Yes, that's for sure. Why not? I love it. There's that release of pressured gas, like as the cargo bay door opens.
Droid,
Never mind.
get in here quick.
And
Corvix will hurry his way up in there.
you did hear what he said, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
There's more important things to worry about than his principles right now.
He's got the Hippocratic Oath, okay?
And Kane has run back over to him, trying to like, sort of like, emergency medicine kind of assess the situation. Like, I'm not gonna fix him, but like, how do I stop him from dying this second until Corvix gets to him?
I should have given you a stim pack, yo.
As Corvix bustles into the room, he's already stowed his weapon in the satchel, and he's pulling out his emergency med pack and a stim pack, and he kind of almost pushes Kane out of the way. He's like, I need some space. Please stand over there and do everything that I ask you to do.
All right.
And then he will get down and try to do his best to assess and staunch any life-threatening wounds.
Got you. So at this point, I'm going to need a couple of checks. First and foremost, we're going to do a survival check from Kane, and this is going to be a challenging check. This guy is pinned, and it's going to take some coordinated effort and some clear thinking, like how do we get this guy, if we're going to save him, how are we going to get him out? And I need a medicine check from Corvix after that. Let's do one at a time, so I get the dice pool set and ready. For some, that's weird.
And I'm just going to stand outside and watch.
So instead of survival, what if I rolled an athletics check to physically like pick the thing up that's crushing him?
Well, so first you need to determine if you do that, if he's gonna survive you doing that.
Okay.
Like, so you don't lift one thing and then something else crushes down on him and kills him, kind of. So, there is, yeah, this is challenging. And I'm gonna say.
We all did not follow the first rule of CPR, which is check the scene for safety.
Right. It is definitely not a safe scene.
Tabletop Galaxy, an educational podcast.
Right.
Step 1, check the scene for safety. The scene is safe.
And I'm also gonna say there's a.
There's a what? What is it?
There's a challenge, and it's also I'm gonna give you a setback because there's so much crud in here. Like there's ship components and debris and rocks, and everything is just crushed into this space, and so it's hard to tell what's what. So
don't you
pool
worry.
set.
My
is there any
green can
modifiers
handle
you
this.
all have or can suggest? Do you wanna use light side point? What's the sitch?
Probably not a light side point.
No, we're going to save that for the actual
Yeah,
life saving.
he can die. It's fine.
Hold up.
All right, I'm rolling it. I'm doing it. My two green can handle it.
Yeah,
oh
you
gosh,
can.
this is
You got this.
Yeah, this is gonna
Yeah,
be.
you
Ooh, that is a failure and a threat.
So so you're looking around, and it's it's sort of beyond you at this point. You're like, how do we? Where's the leverage? How do we get this out off of him without killing him?
Is there any way I could use that threat to, as I'm looking around, sort of like, maybe not panicking, but like pretty hastily? Is there any way I could use that threat to like bump into Corvix or like somehow cause him a setback?
You want to give Corvix a setback? Is that what I'm hearing?
Like kinda.
You are terrible.
That's all right.
Yeah. So Corvix moves over to administer first aid or some kind of medical care to this Lanik, and you sort of haphazardly and carelessly, you're like pacing around this wreckage that's on top of the Lanik, and you basically like kick Corvix. So so we're gonna, sorry Corvix, you're gonna have a setback. This guy, so Blinn passes out. He's basically at that point now where he's like in and out of consciousness. So your medicine check. Oh gosh, I'm making sure I do this right. So this is just going to be determine what's wrong with him, and it's going to be a hard check, no setbacks. The dice pool's ready.
This isn't to
Medicine.
actually
This is
treat
not
him,
to
it's
do
just to
anything yet.
assess.
It's like figure out what's the best course of action.
Okay.
Spectacular.
Corvix rolled 4 successes and 2 threats.
There should have been a setback from Kane. So roll 1 black die for me. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's fine. Let me find my
/R and then
roll
B.
button. Slash.
Go into the dice pool on your character sheet. Make sure
Mhm.
that the only thing selected is 1 black die, and then
Yes.
click the die in the middle, the little D20 in the middle. That's okay. It had a failure, so it just knocks out one of your successes. You had 3 success, 2 threat. Again, I'm feeling like, well, what do you have a use for the threats?
I would think with Kane, like, sort of combat panicking here, and like not really panicking, but he doesn't know what he's doing. That would definitely stress Corvix out. So maybe a couple more strain, or maybe even roll that setback over into the next check as well.
Sure. So roll a setback into the next and take a strain. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
That is not what you were hearing. He was advocating for one of those.
I said
You
either
started
one
this.
setback or
So you're
going
gonna
to
take a setback. You're gonna
I
take a
think it's fair
setback
to
on
do
the
both.
next. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fair. That's fair. You take a setback on the next. That's correct. I read that wrong.
I just thought it was fun.
Nick, you started this. How dare you?
Yeah. Okay. So setback on the next roll. On your next roll.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So maybe you're not super familiar with Lanik physiology.
Mhm.
This is the first one you've encountered, perhaps, and you haven't read much about it. You are successful in knowing, though, that he's at his limit as far as wounds. So he's at 12 out of 12.
Okay.
And he also is currently suffering from 2 critical injuries. They're both average, but there are 2. One is that he's staggered, and the other is that he's scattered senses, which is sort of what you're getting. Like he's sort of like in and out of
Incontinent,
consciousness.
in and out.
One moment he seems like he's like, he asked you, if Ristal sent you, and then the next he's just, you can't even get a reaction from him.
Okay.
So there's 3 issues that you can see. So the first being just he's got a ton of wounds. He's about, he's on the edge.
Mhm.
Second is the critical injuries. Third is like he's pinned.
First and foremost, there's a big rock on him.
Yeah.
My focus is going to be to stabilize him as best as we can now, so
Okay.
that we have less of a chance of killing him by getting him out from underneath this rubble, this debris.
Good idea.
Because I made a big noise, I'm just gonna be like kind of outside the ship, trying to
Okay.
make sure I didn't gather anybody and make more trouble.
Sure. Give me a perception check while you are outside of the ship.
Nope. Don't like
Okay.
that.
Dice pool are ready.
I did aloud. I got 2 advantage.
Okay. So you don't see anything, and
Okay.
maybe you want to recover some strain.
Sure. That'd be nice. Thanks.
You bet. So you still hear there's that kind of pause in the night creatures, like there's no like the chittering quiets and whatever kind of creatures that are normally out on Socorro at night quiet. And you kind of like you're kind of looking around. Then after just about 30 seconds or a minute, the noise starts coming back again.
Can I use the advantage instead of recovering strain to add a boost to the next character check?
100%.
Okay, cool.
Yes, definitely.
Just to comfort them with being like, hey, I got your back. Just
Cool.
work
So
on that guy.
Excellent. You hear
Okay, cool.
you hear the reassuring voice of Elly saying that the coast is clear and she's gonna keep an eye out.
What do you need, droid? What do I help with?
So Corvix will turn to Kane and be like, I need you to stop moving first. Stand there, be still, and do exactly what I ask you if we want to save this man's
Yeah,
life.
stop moving. Stop
This
moving.
being's life.
I can do that. That's easy. Easy. Look, I've stopped moving. I got it.
Kane,
Yeah.
please,
Yeah.
center yourself.
Ugh. Centered. I'm centered, buddy.
I'm going to need your help.
Yeah.
This is pretty bad.
What do you need?
And I will use that inspirational doctor speech to flip a light side point for this next medical check.
Yeah.
Love it. Do it. So you're gonna raise your medicine, which is awesome. And I am going to. Okay, so no setbacks on this roll. This is just to help him recover wounds, or what? What are you trying to do right now?
Yeah, I want to get him away from that wound threshold right now. Like his like lack of awareness, his staggered state, like those aren't critical factors to me right now. I want to stop the bleeding. I want to get him stabilized so that we can move him.
Okay. You have, access to stim packs.
Yes,
I have so many that I can chuck at you.
I have
if you
two
need
on
them.
me.
Okay.
I also
So-
have an emergency med pack that I'm using.
Okay. So let's do both. So I'm gonna say, you have. It's an average check. Oh, sorry, it's a difficult check, because he's teetering just over his wound threshold, which is why he's kind of like in and out of consciousness. The so dice pool is set. So why don't you roll first, just to see with your sort of expertise what you can
You get a
do, and then
boost.
you tell me if you want to use a stim pack. That's gonna do 5 wounds off the top right away.
You get a
Oh
boost.
no, it's not, because he
Add a
already
boost.
used one on himself, so it would do 4.
4.
Okay. All right, so we got
Sorry,
a boost.
Elly
We've
had a
got our
question?
upgrade.
No, he
Oh.
gets a boost
Make sure, yeah, you
from
do get the
the
boost.
coast is clear.
Do you need me to hold something, or should I put my finger somewhere? Or how does this work?
I will tell you exactly what I need when I need
Oh,
it.
got it. I'll stand over here. I got it.
Nurse Kane
Then-
is fun.
I'm going to. I think this is ready to roll. So that's.
Oh,
Corvix
whoa!
rolled 3 successes, 2 advantages, and a triumph.
Kane, how do you feel about this right now? Corvix just goes to work, and it's
Oh, he puts Kane to work
phenomenally
too. That
effective.
success didn't come alone.
Nice.
I'm making him
Nice.
hold
I love
bloody
it.
bandages. I'm making him apply pressure.
Nice.
I fit.
So
you are the tourniquet.
So Corvix, tell us a little bit about what happens with your 3 success, 2 advantage, and a triumph.
So I believe if you're making a medicine check with a triumph, you can use that triumph to cure a critical status. I would have to look
okay.
that up though.
Okay. I will check that while you also continue to describe.
So we are applying like numbing spray. We're wrapping them up. We're getting any actively bleeding locations staunched, plugged up, making Kane stick his fingers in holes to apply pressure. He's doing all the gross work, and like I said before, we're just trying to get this guy wrapped up, splinted up, and ready to have this debris lifted off of him so that we can get him out of here.
I was gonna say the
Excellent.
triumph is a spoiler for The Mandalorian. You turn into Baby Yoda and just use the Force.
I am not seeing the information about the triumph. It does say the triumph means you can heal an additional critical injury, but I feel like that's that's under natural rest, and then
Okay. That's probably what I'm thinking about then.
But that also sort of is cool. So I'm gonna say that's fair. So you first and foremost, he recovers 3 wounds and he recovers 2 strain.
Oh,
It's
hold
all-
on.
And-
I have skills.
Go ahead.
Actually, I don't think they apply
They're
here because
multiplying.
let me look at my character sheet. I do have the surgeon
Oh, right.
ability. I just got to find where it's located.
Tell us what it does.
I have it written down on here somewhere, but I don't know my character sheet.
It should be.
Under combat at the second or third tab, way at the bottom. Should be your feats and stuff. Talents and special abilities.
Oh, yep, there it is. Okay. Search. Okay, so when I make a medicine check to help a character heal wounds, the target heals 1 additional wound per rank of surgeon, so that he heals 2 additional on top of the 3, so for 5 total.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Awesome. That's great. And then were you gonna also use a stim pack?
Yes, I will. Yeah,
Okay.
we're all the stops are out. We're doing everything we can to get this feller healed and
Okay.
ready to transport.
So, that brings him down to currently 3 out of 12 wounds, and drops his strain down to well, I'm not gonna give you numbers. You drop his strain and his wounds enough that he sort of seems to like regain consciousness, and then I'm gonna say that I'm gonna heal the staggered condition. So he sort of comes back to his he comes back to consciousness. I'm gonna leave the scattered senses, which is that he's in a huge amount of pain right now, and he's like pinned, and so his any checks that he might be making are not gonna be very good. So he kind of comes back a little bit to consciousness, and there's this there's kind of like oh. He looks up at you and says, "I don't know who you are, but thank you. Feel a little better already." He looks at Kane. He says, he's like, "Sorry, I guess."
Sorry for what?
I love this guy.
Your blaster's still on the floor. He's like, well, my line of work, you can't be too careful, and I just assumed the worst when you poked your head in over there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're talking about that? I got plenty more where that came from.
Like, wow, I'm in a bad way, huh? It's all
Yes,
right. You can
you
tell
are.
it to me
Ask
straight.
him if anyone is after him. Come on, guys. Ask the questions.
We're not out of this yet. We still need to get you out from underneath this. So hold on for a bumpy ride.
I tell you what, if I survive this one, well, let's just say you'll have a friend for life. My life, anyway.
I'm not really after new friends. We're kind of in this for the credits. No offense.
I can respect that. That's sort of what got me in this mess in the first place.
What do you mean?
Ask.
Credits. I mean, ain't that what we're all after?
You might want to brace yourself. This is gonna hurt a bit. I'm gonna try to lift
He raises an eyebrow.
what's crushing him there.
Ooh,
Check with
all
the
right.
doctor
So
first.
since you
Do we have any more light side? We got one. I want to flip a
I
light
got
side.
one.
So since you failed the what do you call it? The survival check earlier, you're still not 100% sure what you're going to be doing here. And I'm going to flip a dark side to give it a raise. So
You gotta
yeah.
flip yours too.
We can flip them on the same one? I think I've asked that
Yes.
before, and I never remember.
yeah.
Yes.
You
That
just
is
can't
correct.
flip the same token back and
Yeah,
forth.
yeah.
Exactly.
And you also
Um,
can only flip one per your time that you're doing something.
So now, you got a setback because you failed the check earlier, and this is a challenging task, and I raised it. So the pool is set. Do you want to talk it out? Do you want to see if you can figure out how to get additional you got a raise so far.
Don't be a
Boost,
dummy.
Get some help from Elly
He's doing
or
it.
from Corvix or anything.
Don't
Are
be
you
a dummy.
Just gonna try to pull it.
I
just
don't.
gonna go for
Yep.
it? All right.
I don't think I
man.
have anything that can help here.
Go, cool guy.
Don't be a dummy.
Oof.
I told you not to be a
Ooh.
dummy.
Two
What was that? 2 failures? Yeah.
So
my hard
I'm
work.
gonna say that you shift the structure in a way that it actually it wounds him even further. Like it like crushes him. He's like, what are you doing, you dummy?
I told you to hold on.
And he's gonna take 2 wounds from that.
You broke him.
Good God, man! You gotta. He's like, what are you? What's wrong with you?
And it like
you can't lift this on your own.
I like to think I had lifted it just enough, like it, things kind of started to shift and it like slid across. And then as he's like, "Come on,
Right.
man, you can't do this on your own," Kane kind of drops it,
Oh God!
and that's where the first failure comes with like me shifting it around, and he took damage because of that. And then I dropped it, and he took his other set of damage from that.
Luckily, there was no like despair in
Yeah.
there. That would have been real bad. So yeah, you try to shift it the way you think it should like work, but number one, it's almost like he's got a freaking mountain on him right now. And then number two, there's part of the hull is cut into him, so there's like a whole lot of mess going on right now.
Perhaps we can find a bar or something to help shift it just enough to get him pulled out.
Do you think that maybe the tow cables or something in the truck thing?
What are you gonna do with tow
Whatever
cables?
the word is.
We
To
could
pull the
perhaps-
rock off.
Kane,
Yes.
Kane, you would actually know that there are probably there are all kinds of straps and so forth in the truck to like secure cargo. There very well may be that kind of device, and you have a light side point. That's a pretty good idea to flip a point to have exactly the tool you need.
I had a good
Like
idea.
one of those repulsor
Totally.
things.
What if
So-
there's just happens to be a tool in the car that just destroys rocks?
It's a lot of rock
Uh,
to destroy.
I was thinking like, okay, so
More like I'm
I'm
thinking more like
teasing.
a winch kind of functional.
teasing.
You know,
I know.
yeah, don't worry.
Uh,
Yeah, some
we're
kind of
about
a
to go full
repulsor.
Jurassic
yeah,
Park.
what if it's like a repulsor
Portable
lift? Because
repulsor.
it is like a cargo speeder.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Or
so
lift?
You
Is
guys
that the
wanna
right
flip
word?
a
I don't know
light
what the
side,
word is.
then you know
Like a
that there's
dolly,
gonna be some
basically?
tools in the truck, and you can run and grab them.
Let's
I want
do
to
it.
flip our last.
I will
I'm-
stay with the
Sleep.
patient.
I'm gonna go get the stuff from the truck because I'm just like, there's gotta be a better way
Flip
to do
your light
this.
side point.
Right
Elly.
on.
I will flip this. I will flip the point once I open the right tab.
Did
I will
Kane
use
stay
the
behind?
destiny.
Yeah.
While Elly goes to the truck and Corvix is sticking with the patient, he's going to say to Kane, maybe now would be a good time to go check out the cargo situation.
Good idea.
Starting to think we were right to bring you along here. You got some uses there.
Blinn is in obviously in pain again, but he kind of like he chuckles darkly like, yeah, figures, credits, right? You're just here for the cargo. I should have known.
Don't
Thought
worry,
it was
I'm
my lucky
not
day,
going
but-
anywhere.
Well, to be fair, we're here for you, but if we can pick up some cargo while we're at it, it's kind of a double bonus. And he like pats him on the chest, like hard enough to make him cough, but not like enough to do any, real damage.
You son of a gun narc! What's wrong with you? Oh.
And Kane's walking away to get his rifle and then to look for the cargo.
Corvix will gently place his hand where Kane kind of patted him pretty hard, and he's just like,
Sure.
Trust me, I'm not leaving his side.
He looks at you and is like, yeah, thanks. I'm Blinn Campbell. It's a pleasure to meet you. What do they call you?
You can call me Corvix.
Thanks, Corvix. For real, I mean it. Thank you. Even if I die out here, it's nice to know somebody cared.
Well, I'll do everything I can to make sure you make it back to Vikea.
So, Elly, you get back to the truck, and you kind of root around in the cargo area. You see, again, there's like straps and hooks and all these kind of things that you would use to secure cargo, and you also see a little like box where there's some looks like there might be tools and that kind of thing. You pop the lid and you find this simple looking device. It's kind of like it's about the size of a toolbox itself, like a good size, maybe 1.5 2 foot long, kind of like 8 or 10-inch square. I should be using meters and that stuff, but I'm not. Anyway, we are Americans. That's how we talk. I'll do better next time. Anyhow, it's about that size, about the double size of like a shoebox or something, with a handle on, or like a interesting looking handle on it, and looks like it has some kind of a opening towards the front where some kind of array is, that you imagine that's where the repulsor energy is going to emanate from.
Array is there. Is there also a Kylo there?
Funny. So you pull that out and head back towards the crash ship.
Last session, I didn't even know what a speeder was, but this session, watch me perfectly operate a repulsor jack. It's gonna be great. The power of destiny points.
Yes. And speaking of destiny points, I was intending to do it a minute ago, but I'm gonna do it right now since you mentioned it. As you're heading back to the others, you're hearing something off in the distance. It's not clear what, but you hear sounds that are like rocks crumbling, and it's a little far away, but it's not like the normal sound you've been hearing. So something catches your attention.
Can I like shine my flashlight over to try and?
It's nothing nearby.
Okay.
This is like a ways off.
Okay.
Something.
Is this something that needs to be operated from outside the ship or inside the ship?
The repulsor
jack
tool? Yeah.
lift.
It's the kind of thing that you would need to do where he's at, you think.
Okay.
Like, to
then
get
I'm gonna
whatever's
head into the ship.
Okay. So you crawl back through into the ship. You see Kane in the cargo area. Kane, what were you doing while Elly was getting the tools out of the truck?
Grabbing my rifle and looking for the cargo.
Mm-hmm. All right. I will. Let's see. You're gonna need to make a check, because he is a smuggler. It is not going to be just out in the open.
You sure?
But it's not a massive ship either, and you sort of know what you're looking for.
And probably the structural integrity of the hull is not the best, so it's probably
that's as
open
well. So I'm going to
stuff.
give you a boost for the check because of that, and then I will accept perception. I would also accept survival,
They're all gonna be the
and I would
same.
accept streetwise. Streetwise.
Yeah, they're
so
all-
any of those would be acceptable for this.
They're all crappy. I'll just do perception. I got one. Ooh, failures rolling in. One failure, one threat.
All right. What's your threat? What's your failure? You want to tell me? You don't find the car. First
I
of all,
think
you don't
that's-
find the cargo.
I think that's
They're
an
not
obvious
just
failure.
sitting around.
Yeah. A threat. I could trigger some trap that he's laid, or cause more damage to the ship looking for it. Either of those seem likely.
Yeah. You see a panel that's loose and think, oh, it's got to be in there, and you give it a yank, and it's actually just an electrical panel. That same thing again. You just get zapped from it. You're like, ah! Like you take some strain from that.
All right, sweet.
And there's like the clattering of the panel as it falls to the floor, and he looks at he looks up. Sorry, Blinn looks up to Corvix and says, "I mean, the ship was already wrecked, but he's tearing it apart."
I'm afraid it looks unsalvageable from the outside. He may not be doing any extra damage.
Yeah, I was afraid of that. He calls out
speaking-
a little louder. He's like, "Looking for the cargo, are ya?"
I'll find it sooner or later.
He's like,
And that's when he rips the panel off.
right. He looks at Corvix and he says, "You seem like a decent one. Why don't you level with me? Did Ristal send you?"
Yes, she did.
Says, "All right. I'll tell you what. Since you already helped me and maybe even saved my life, I'll tell you where the cargo is. You just gotta promise. Just do your best to try to get me out of here if there's a way you can do it. If you do that, I'll be indebted."
At this
For
point,
real.
I walk in and I drop this jack thing. Just be like,
Right?
this can possibly help.
He looks over. He says, "Oh, yeah, that ought to do it. You know how to operate it?"
I quick glance to see if there's a nice info instructions on it.
Only
Maybe
With the
nice
little like
pictures?
IKEA people.
Nah, this is gonna be mechanics. So anybody
I'm
can
gonna roll
attempt
and
it.
then I will answer that.
I
Unless
will
you
help
wanna do
you
it.
if I can.
'Kay, cool.
My
I'll be
mechanics
jet-
is 3 green.
Oh, there you go.
Let's
I'm gonna
do
be.
it.
I'm gonna flip a dark side to up the challenge only
I
because
would
there's
do this
so
too.
much debris going on. But I'm only gonna make it an average average challenge. So you'll
Alright.
be at one purple and one red. And I guess if Corvix is gonna sort of give you guidance, unless you want Kane to do it, I don't know who's gonna manipulate this. But it
Nah,
sounds like
let's
Corvix
do
has the
it.
best mechanics.
I was just gonna help her try to figure it out.
Yep.
Okay.
Me and Corvix
So
reading
yeah,
IKEA.
you sort of essentially say, okay, the idea is you gotta position yourself in the right place. There's gonna be a repulsor beam that emanates from the front of the tool, and you just don't want to point it in the you just gotta make sure it's headed
Yeah,
in the
just
right
point it the right
direction.
way.
But you need to be braced correctly, or it's just it's just gonna shove you back the other direction. So It's good. It's
Yeah.
functionally the way I'm imagining this is it's like it's magnifying your own strength and ability. It's like, maybe 10 or 100-fold. So
Yeah, I was like, I have a brawn of 1, so...
Me
so,
too.
But we're going with, I said we're going to go with mechanics for this because it's more about a
Yay.
function of like operating the machine correctly. So
right,
the pool set
so-
whenever you're ready.
Sweet. I don't get any upgrades?
Well, if Corvix is guiding you, then yeah, we'll say you use his, which if he's got
Yeah,
3 green, that's
So
the
3
roll.
greens. I'm debating flipping a light side. I think I'm gonna do it. I want to get this rack off.
All right. So
More
you
importantly,
so
I
we-
want to be better than Kane.
Oh, can I say this? We
Yes.
learned in our last session that apparently when Elly stops to think things through, she really does well, and it calms her mind, and her she seems to find success in that. So yeah, upgrade one of
Uh-huh.
those die. Love it.
Okay, I did it. I hit upgrade.
Well, there you go.
All
So
right, 2 successes and a threat.
yeah.
I
So
did it.
Yeah,
I
so
moved
here's
the
what
rock.
happens. Or do you want to describe how you do it? You describe it. So what does it look like? Again, there's a combination of rocks and parts of the ship just like pinning this Lannick to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible his legs are just gone. You don't even really know,
Oh,
but
yikes.
like his lower body, you can't even see it at this point.
It's probably gonna be like taking a couple of pieces of rubble and like building a little tripod for it, and then just like setting it at the right angle, and then just like looking at Corvix like, is this? And just like go, and then
Yeah,
when
so right when you're about to pull the trigger, there's this moment where you're like, you look at Corvix. Corvix gives you the double thumbs up, and then Blinn reaches a hand out and like puts his hand on your arm.
Aw.
He's like, just in case this goes really badly for me, let me tell you where the cargo is. He says,
as
"Hey, whatever your name is back there,
Rips another panel
it's
off.
on the other side, bottom panel to the right. There's a keypad. Punch the button 3 times, and it'll open up for you. All right, dear, go ahead."
I hit the button, and then when it works, I'm like, I did know how to operate it.
How about that threat? Do you want to take a strain for like
I will take
the
a strain.
pressure of this moment, like weighing on Elly?
Also, now I'm really afraid to look at what his legs are underneath the rocks.
So there's this
Just
moment
don't look at
where,
him.
yeah. So there's this kind of like bated breath moment of like everyone's kind of like holding their breath, especially poor Blinn is there like, oh god, and Elly, you kick on the repulsor, and there's this kind of like.
I'm like bracing against the back wall.
As it like powers up, and then so it powers up, and then you realize that there's like you actually have to activate it. So you you're very gingerly, you're like, okay, I hope it's braced well. You pull the trigger, and it's like zzzz, and what happens is the debris that was on him, very slowly and gently, it's almost like it just rolls off of him to the side. Luckily, the piece that had fallen, the rock that had fallen onto him, was cracked free from this larger like just chunk of boulder that's like still embedded into the side of the ship. So the piece that was pinning him to the ground was just this heavy chunk of rock, and it seems either the repulsor cracked it or it was already cracked from falling, and so that falls off to the side, and at the same time it just like bends and rends the ship pieces that were pinning him, and there's this horrible, it's very loud, I mean it's almost deafening to all of you inside the ship. It's just like as metal screeching, and it kind of rolls off of him, and there's this like, and then you're all kind of like, and Blinn had like was squinting his eyes, and he kind of opens his eyes. All right, give me a medicine check, Corvix. Your medicine check is gonna determine how bad it really is.
Does this man still have legs?
This is gonna be a very This is gonna be just make it a difficult check to see how bad the damage is. So we're gonna make it it's challenging. Go ahead. You're good.
All right.
'Kay.
Corvix rolled 1 success and 2 threats.
All right. So as soon as the debris is removed from his lower body, the bleeding starts up again, and you very quickly are able to staunch the bleeding. So he doesn't. He's not going to bleed out. The 2 threat is that. Let's see. You got an idea, or do you want me to give it?
Maybe take 2 strain.
Chat
Sure.
would like to point out that Kane loosened the rock for me, by the way.
That's not true at all.
I do have a question. Because I feel like I'm being a little sneaky. So I have 1 point of resolve. So anytime I suffer strain, I suffer 1 less strain per rank of resolve. So if you're asking me what I want to do with those threats, I want to say 2 strain because then it's
That's
just 1
fair.
strain.
Well, the thing too is I just realized that you were supposed to at some point you were supposed to get a setback on one of your roll, like your next roll, and we didn't do that. So
Oh, you're right. It was supposed to be on that next second medicine roll.
So let's have you take the 2 strain.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say, you can probably tell right away that he's probably been paralyzed. His
Okay.
legs look pretty darn crushed. Maybe his pelvis, as it's without a full medical bed, and the proper scanner technology. There's no way to know for sure, but it's like they look pretty pulped, broken for certain, and there's a very high probability that he's gonna be
A
he
cool Darth
could be
Maul
paralyzed.
half Spider-Man?
So
Corvix will immediately just be like, don't look. Elly, please help me carry him to the transport.
Do we
with your medical knowledge, you
don't
would
move him?
definitely know moving him is the absolute worst thing you can do. It's the potential to make things worse is like it skyrockets. So if he's going to be moved, you're going to need to figure out a stretcher or some form of way to move him and keep him as stable and stationary at the same time as possible.
Is there enough debris around to make a
stretcher?
makeshift stretcher, like a field
You
stretcher?
certainly can. It'll take it's going to take some time to do it.
Field litter.
So in your assessment, I'm going to say you're probably taking the time to, again, just like staunch the really bad bleeding anyway. But again, broken bones, like he's in a pretty bad state. So, you are going to take the time to do that right now. Meanwhile, so Kane, he told you where to look. He said, look down here. There's a little pad, hit 3, tap the button 3 times, it'll pop. So you go over and investigate, and sure enough, you punch the it's just like it's a very nondescript. It takes you a minute to find it, but it's this very nondescript button that's kind of like, it almost looks like it's just like a bolt or something like that would just hold on a panel or some such. You find it after a minute of search, or whatever short time searching. You press it 3 times, and then it kind of like folds, it moves in on hydraulics and then like shifts up out of the way, and you can see the opening is about a meter tall and a meter wide, but it opens into this like side, almost like a bay between the inner and outer hull, essentially, is what it basically comes down to. And you can kind of see when you look in that it's reinforced. Like normally you would just have the inner hull, airspace like as a buffer with some kind of like what's it called? What's the word?
Insulation?
No, like metal frame is
Scaffolding?
not scaffolding, but that sort of thing. My brain just doesn't want to come up with the word. And so there's the metal like structure underneath the skeleton of the ship, if you will, and then the outer hull. But in this case, there's the inner hull, then there's like extra plating, then there's like an opening, and then a reinforced outer hull. So it's like it's a very clearly hidden compartment that if you don't know it's there and you don't have the right tools to scan for it, you'd never even guess that it would be in there. So inside this space, you can see fairly neatly stacked. Actually, give me a perception check. We'll see what you find.
You have the scanner goggles.
Yeah, we'll just give you a boost since it's in a dark compartment.
I want those back at the end of the session.
Nope.
Okay.
Gone forever.
You'll have to come and take them from me. Ugh. What is with my rolls tonight? It's because we're not.
It's because you won't.
It's because
give
we're
them
not
back.
shooting anything.
Oh no, because I set. Well, that wasn't supposed to be 2 purples. I'm sorry, I didn't set the die pool correctly.
Time to roll.
So it would have been 1 threat. So you see a stack of 4 crates in here.
Only 4?
Yep. Only 4.
I mean, it's a crap roll, so we'll see what happens. So are you gonna start pulling them out?
Yeah, I'll pull the first one out.
Okay.
Shake
So
it.
you start doing that. Meanwhile, Corvix, give me between you and Elly, we're gonna probably go for like a survival check.
I have 2 green. Nope, I have 3 greens.
Could I try to swindle the argument for a medicine check, as in like my medical knowledge? I know sort of
100%
what to
yes.
look for to assemble this litter.
I'm down for that. Since you didn't take your setback earlier, I'm gonna make this an average. No, I mean, let's say, average. That's pretty stressful, and 1 setback. It's set. You're good to go.
Okay.
How
Rolling.
effective is your? Whoa!
Corvix rolled a
So-
success and 2 triumphs.
Oh, so check this out. Here's what happened. You're like, oh, you know what would work perfectly is one of those cargo panels, or one of those hull panels. And you walk. So there's this moment where Kane is like got his head inside this storage compartment, and Corvix, you walk over, and there's this moment where you kind of like you look at Kane on the floor next to you, and you look at the panel in front of you to his side, and you're like, yes, this will do nicely. And you kind of just like rip the panel, like you kind of like pull the outer panel off the hull plating, and you're like, and as you do, you're like, oh, I think I found more of your crates. And then you walk back to build the thing. So Kane, you look over and you see another stack of crates right next to the ones you found.
Ah, perfect.
Oh, by the way, I guess I'll do your job for you too.
Kane, I think I'm leaving you for Corvix.
Ouch. There are in fact a total of 6 crates that you all find. And I'm gonna say with the second triumph, I want you to describe what that one does, because that's amazing. 2 triumphs.
Somehow you managed to flex in front of Kane.
Well, that's,
So this is another spot where my lack of knowledge is really going to shine through. I don't know what all to do with triumphs, but could we secure him to this litter so like well?
You can ignore
that
penalizing
we-
environmental effects such as
Yeah.
inclement weather, zero gravity, or similar circumstances like rubble.
yeah.
Well, that's sort of where I was going with it. Can we get him strapped down and secured to this thing so well that we don't have any
100%.
sort of a negative setbacks to getting him out to the truck?
for sure. You're able to make a litter effectively enough, and he's in such a position that just with a simple roll to the side and a roll back onto it, it's very much easy to get him secured. So as you're doing that, Kane, you're pulling out the cargo stuff from the back, the crates from the back. You get him secured in such a way that he's looking up at you, and he's just like, he's kind of like grinning and smile. There's this huge aura of relief on his face, and you can just sense he's like, it's fairly obvious even to Corvix that this being basically had resigned himself to dying. He was pretty much convinced like there was no chance. And yet you all came like just in time to make sure he didn't bleed out completely. Not only that, you were able to free him from this like horrendous pinning position because you happened to have the right tools for the job. Like, so everything was perfect. And so there's this moment where he's just like, there's this kind of almost like a look of peace, and he just smiles at you. He says, he smiles at you. He says, he's like, I guess the Force was with us, huh? Thanks, friend. Then you hear,
Nope.
well, what have we here? And as you look back to the cargo bay, there in the cargo bay, silhouetted with the beaming lights from the exterior, from the van or the hover truck, is an individual that, well, you might know as what's called a ranat or ranat. It is a sharp-teethed, long whiskered, furry individual, essentially a rodent species that some have long tails and so forth, beady eyes, looks to be garbed as a bounty hunter. And as he looks at you, he says he kind of twirls his whiskers and says, he's got his arms crossed, he's holding a blaster, and well, what have we here? Looks like you've done my job for me.
I don't know if Kane is anywhere around, but I immediately give the Leku signal of shoot him.
Right? Yeah, Kane is just a few feet away, and we're going to have to find out next time how you would like to handle this situation. Thank you, friends, for an amazing game. The plot thickens as the scene seemingly, when things were going so well, something
also,
bad happened.
Can I point out, you were like, he's so at peace because everything went perfectly, and I'm like, Kane dropped a rock on him.
Well, all things considered, he's alive and at least has a chance of survival, which is what he he seems to be focused on anyway. So there's next time you're gonna have to deal with a rennet. At least that's what it seems like. You'll have to deal with a rennet bounty hunter, is how it appears. We'll find out how you...
No, we won't, because in the first 5 minutes, Kane's gonna shoot him, and it will be fine.
Yeah, he got all of his bad non-combat rolls out of the way tonight, so that when it comes to combat next week after next, he's ready to roll.
I mean, as always, we will see what the dice play out for us. Y'all are amazing. Thank you for a great session. Sincerely, that was super fun. I hope you all had as much fun as I did. What is let's do a super quick out. First and foremost, we want to thank Roll20. Roll20 is sponsoring the crew, and we are just thrilled to be able to use the Fantasy Flight Games dice and the die roller in and the character sheets and everything, it's all, seamlessly integrated and works so nicely for us. It just makes this game that much easier. So we are featured on let's say the one crit wonder technically is our featured account where we are able to play with this game, and so we're just grateful to Roll20 for that. I have been Gregory, your space dungeon master, as we like to say here, and you can find me online at Gregory Infesto on Twitter or 1in20 D&D. If you want to find me, hit me up, and I'll definitely share all the cool stuff that I am a part of. How about we go around the circle once again, starting with alphabetically. Kevin, one more time. Who have you been playing? Who are you? How do we find you?
So I was Kevin, or I am Kevin. I was Corvix. Just thank you to everyone for stopping by, watching the show. I hope you liked what you saw. I hope we see you again next time. You can find me on Twitter at Son of Clark. I'm always on my phone. It's kind of an issue these days, actually. So if you ever want to chat, ask questions, talk about Star Wars, talk about anything else, you can hit me up there, and I'm more than happy to get engaged.
Fabulous.
Cool.
Next
Hi,
up.
I'm next. I'm Nifer. I'm at Twitter at NiferNif. I am in a Curse of Strahd game that's D&D 5e on alternating Wednesdays. So if you like Star Wars and you like D&D, just always see me on Wednesdays, because that'll go great. And I'm also in a 5e actual play podcast called Not Quite Heroes, and we are in a whole community built world, and it's really, really fun, and a lot of weird stuff is happening. And apparently we dropped our funniest, most popular episode on Monday, so check that out. It's pretty cool. Yeah, that's at NQH Podcast on Twitter. So
Awesome. Last but not
Next.
least.
Boom. I'm Nick. You can find me on Twitter at LizardKingNick. And if you liked this show, then come back in 2 weeks, because you're going to like that one too. Yeah.
Definitely. Figure out how badly Kane annihilates, if he can, this bounty hunter. I will say this. Blinn is conscious and armed, and apparently a pretty good shot too. So you might have an advantage that was maybe unexpected or unplanned, which is great.
And he super likes 2 out of 3 of us.
Exactly, for sure.
I can't wait for just him being strapped to this board, completely swaddled, but then just pew.
Exactly.
It's kind of like the opposite of Chewbacca carrying C-3PO around everywhere. Corvix is going to drag him around while he shoots out the back.
Fantastic. Well, you got to come back in 2 weeks for that. And if you're listening on the podcast, thank you very much. Check us out on YouTube. We are Tabletop Galaxy. This is the crew of the Second Sunrise. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, we'll see you out there in a galaxy far, far away.